Hey, what's up, my people? How you doing? My name is Dalton. This is my YouTube channel, Dalton My World. And if you're returning, thank you. And today, I've been wanting to tell you all about a important aspect of eviction moratorium. And if you don't know what eviction moratorium is, eviction moratorium is something that's done by the federal government or the president in which uh, states that the landlord cannot evict you if you do not have any money, if you're unable to pay the full rent or any of the rent. Now, before I go on, I want to state my stance about the landlord and their version. And if you haven't watched some of my past videos or watched them all the way through, then you probably don't know. Well, as I stated in some of my videos, I agree 100% that the landlords are getting shafted, that the landlords need to be paid, okay? And I think it really should be retroactive. And a lot of landlords don't even realize that almost all the packages and proposals and bills that were uh, given by the House, the Democrats, has money in it for the landlords, believe it or not. A lot of money in there for the landlords. And they agree the landlords need to be paid, especially through this coronavirus pandemic and anytime a eviction moratorium is made. Okay, I agree with that 100%. And some of the packages that the Senate, the Republicans, made, or bills and proposals that they made, also included money going to the landlords. The problem is, none of them seem to want to get off their butts during this election year and make a deal. Okay? And that's not the tenant's problem fault, and it's not the landlord's fault. It's those in power of the government, and they need to get their act together. Now I think we're all agreeing on that. Now I wanted to say that piece, so please don't fill up my comments about the landlord side point of view. I get it. I have a friend of mine who owned property. She owned a house, and I understand what you go through. I understand. I get it. Okay. Now, back to the eviction moratorium. If you don't know what eviction moratorium is, that means that uh, you can't be kicked out of your house or your apartment for not having rent or not having all of your rent. Okay, and the President Trump created eviction moratorium through an executive order. But his eviction moratorium was pretty much like, the best example is a really mean old dog without teeth barking at you. Okay. Yeah, you hear it, but yeah, you're not really gonna fear it. I mean, what's it gonna do? Gum you? Okay. So the actual CDC came out, uh, and they did an eviction moratorium, and their eviction moratorium is backed by the federal government. Okay, and theirs is a vicious, mean, well trained dog with young, powerful, very strong, and vicious teeth. And there's no landlord who wants to be caught up in court, federal court, because of eviction moratorium. Okay, but your landlord knowing about the eviction moratorium is only part of the deal. Okay, that's only half of the picture, and they can know about it, but then there's something that you're supposed to do for the full circle to make sure it's active on your behalf. And what that is, you need to write a letter. Yes, it doesn't matter. You don't have to be going to law school to do this. You can have somebody else even write it for you. You can type it up Okay, you can write it on regular college paper, notebook paper. Okay, it doesn't matter. You can print it out with a pen on a notebook paper, or you can type it up all professional and pretty. It doesn't matter. The fact is that you need to give them a letter. And basically, it doesn't have to be all detailed and fancy with tons of legal words in it. One of the main things that you want to do in the letter is you always want to date the letter the first of that month. I don't care if you get an eviction notice on the 20th of the month, that letter needs to be dated the first of the month. Okay? And it just basically is going to state that you can't pay the rent. And then I would just put in there, you know, number one, um, I don't have the money, the resources, you know, or the financial resources at this time to pay rent. Number two, uh, my resources are um, have been affected by COVID-19. Simple, okay? And I would tell most people when you do that, you don't have to look up the statute. Most landlords already know the statute, okay? But you do want to explain to them that you can't pay the rent, all right? And almost everybody dealing with financial hurt right now, it has something to do one way or another with the COVID-19. Believe it or not. Now, that is one thing. Now, I'm going to put a link. I'm doing my best to put a link in the description box below that gives you an example of the letter you need to write. Okay, but that letter needs to be given to the landlord. Yeah, the landlord may get a little huffy, may not like it, but the fact is, without giving that letter to the landlord, you do not complete the process of eviction moratorium, which will prevent them from kicking you out. Okay, and the victim eviction moratorium is good to keep you in your apartment and in your house until January 2021. Now, the eviction moratorium may be extended. If it is extended, it's going to be extended the right way. And what I mean by that, it'll be extended through some type of stimulus package. And if it's extended, uh, the landlord will be getting money, and hopefully they'll get retroactive as well. Okay, uh, for you, covering you staying in an apartment, and if you could pay some of it, but you can't pay all of it without hurting yourself, I would definitely pay some of it. But one thing also you want to remember is when you give them that letter, you always keep the original. You give them the copy. You never give up the original letter, ever. You always give the copy, okay? Because that original letter, signed and dated, and you're always going to sign it at the bottom, sign and dated, that's your proof, okay? And if you ever, some landlord want to take you to court, probably going to get thrown out anyway because you got your proof that you did let them know, okay? And then they're violating the eviction moratorium. All right. Now, another thing about eviction moratorium is you can get evicted. And what I mean by that is you can get evicted. Victim moratorium is not like a huge shield of protection against everything. Okay? It basically protects you from getting kicked out for not having the money to pay your rent. But if you're violating that lease, your landlord can kick you out. And what I mean by that is, I'm gonna give you an example. If you're running a meth lab in your apartment or in your house, and you that's against the law, as you know, then yes, you can get evicted. If you're having some party during the COVID-19, your state already tells you that you're not supposed to have no more than 5 people gathering, and you got a thousand people house party going on at your house. Yes, you can get evicted. I'm just giving you examples. Okay, so eviction moratorium does not protect you from everything. Okay, now at the in the end of January, I mean in the beginning of January 2021, any rent that you weren't able to pay is due. Okay, that's another thing about eviction moratorium they don't tell you. So yes, now uh, it is due. So don't go out and buying iPhones and all this other stuff when you know rents in January is going to be due. Now there's a good chance that after the election there's going to be a stimulus package that's going to be passed. Okay, and they may extend that eviction moratorium. Okay, to protect you so you can stay in your house. But as I stated, it be within a stimulus package, so therefore landlords will be getting paid too. They'll get paid to have you, which unfortunately they're not right now, but they really should have already been. Because but it's election year, and if you looked at my past videos, I told you this was gonna happen. you but once the election's over and we have a president, whether it's the same one or a new one, then there's a whole different ball game, and it probably any other stimulus package probably wouldn't take no more than about, believe it or not, 5 to 10 days to be passed. Now, so I wanted to give that information to you about eviction moratorium and what you need to do on your part as a tenant. Okay, because a lot of people are misled about the eviction moratorium. They think that it's a protection of all things, that you can't get. Yes, you can get evicted if you're breaking that lease for some other reasons. Okay, you're violating that lease. You're doing drugs out of that house. Yeah, you can get evicted because it's against the law in your state, it's against the federal law, and then two, it's most likely against your lease. Okay, so I just want to give that to you, and I will put it, like I said, find that link and put a description in the bottom of this video, so therefore you have an example of how you need to write up that letter and give to that landlord. And I hope this really helps you. This has been on my mind to tell people because I heard a lot of people talk about eviction moratorium, but they didn't get the whole picture. All right, because it was given to me a long time ago. Someone helped me out a long time ago, and they explained to me that it is important and to give people the knowledge that if you have it, so that they can help themselves, so they don't have to join some group or they don't have to join. I mean, I love my subscribers, but you shouldn't have to subscribe to anything to get this knowledge. You should be able just to watch that video and be able to help yourself as a viewer. Okay? Don't get me wrong, I love my subscribers and y'all been kicking it. All right. And this was an important video. I wanted to give this out to you. And I thank you all, and I hope it helps you. If it don't help you in the present, I hope it helps you in the future. Okay. And I ask you to subscribe. I ask you to please share this. And you all been sharing this on Facebook. I didn't know y'all could do that, but y'all been sharing this on Facebook. Y'all been sharing it on YouTube, on Twitter, and I thank y'all. From the bottom of my heart, I do thank you. And I do hope it helps people. And I welcome your comments as long as it's respectful. All right, and peace out, people. Just peace out. Keep calm, keep cool, and stay warm, man. It's getting cold up here.